Hey everybody, welcome back to Midweek with a Maker. Gonna zoom or move that up just a little bit. Welcome back to Midweek with a Maker. I am your host, Jeremiah Bachhaus from Umbrella Forge. Really glad to have you with me. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so it's probably going to be a shorter video. But I wanted to give everybody a final update on the axe build. So here is the axe as it's finished. The edge is all dyed. The bit cover is fully finished. It's on there. It's plenty sharp enough for taking out into the woods and ready to go. I also spent some time and rounded out the bottom. Again, that's just grinder work. I don't bore you guys with a whole lot of grinder work on the stream. So I rounded that out so it's got a really nice comfortable swell, nothing super sharp. The grain popped out from all the dirty hands touching it, which was going to happen anyway. So this is just giving it a little bit of character before it goes to its final home. Wherever that final home is, I don't know yet. So I'm hoping to have an announcement for you guys on that coming up shortly. So please pay attention to both the Instagram and the YouTube channel. I'll try and post a video to get some interest around that project and keep your eye out for that. So there's the inaugural full project or mostly full project that it was for Midweek with a Maker. There's the axe. All right, so for today, I have some copper bowls that I'm working on that are hidden behind the camera. And again, I turned the tracking off. Just it worked better when it was tracking in the upper chest, but still for the project today, I don't plan to move that much. So I've got these copper bowls here. These are 48 ounce copper sheets. That's what this comes out of. So the measurement for copper is in a 1 inch square. I believe it's 1 inch. And however, could be 12 inches. I'll have to check on that one. Similar to leather, it's actually in weight that tells you what the thickness is. So this 48 ounce copper, this is pretty thick stuff for the copper working industry. A lot of the original coppersmith machinery won't even handle this thick of stuff. So most of the tooling that I have for this, I built myself. So I cut out these blanks. These become coffee scoops. And my dies are, again, something that I made myself, and they leave a little bit of a rough texture on there that I don't necessarily like. So I have my other form here. It's called a stake, and it, of course, fits right on there. And I'll change my camera angle so that you guys can see it better. Drop it down. And it sits on here, and then I'm going to do some rough planishing is what I would call this. Now, planishing has to do with taking a hammer and smoothing something out. When working with non-ferrous metals, I have very specialized, it's just a ball peen hammer, but the face is highly polished. And that's kind of something very common you see in sheet metal fabrication type work. I'm going to try, now I am pretty much using this ball stake as a form. It's not exactly half, but I'm going to start working this piece over. I don't need to hit it super hard. Planishing strikes really smooth everything out. And if I was doing some, say, French repoussé work, I would make sure, if you can see in the picture, I'm not sure if you can, but there are a bunch of facets that are starting to show up here, which actually I want the facets for this job. I think it makes the coffee scoop, that's what I call these, but it can be a lot of different things. The facets make it really interesting, but in true planishing, I would sit there and try and overlap my blows so frequently that it becomes super smooth. The nice thing about copper is that when I do that, when I overlap those blows with planishing strikes, then it starts to work harden, and so it's actually going to want to hold that shape just a little bit better. There's a guy named Douglas Pryor. I follow him on Instagram. He does repoussé out of sheet copper all the time. He uses pitch mostly for the back. You'll see that he has to go through an annealing process, which is different in copper than it is in steel. You heat it up and then you quench it, and then the copper becomes soft and pliable again. Steel, it's the exact opposite. You have to heat it up and let it slowly cool down, and then you're able to work it again. But in working with stakes, it's different than forging because I'm not using a full arm swing. I'm actually mostly, you can kind of see, it's mostly just my wrist that's just going up and down, trying to make this faceted. If there's any texture that I really don't like that has come through the, I'll call it, or the sinking process, I can spend some time and planish over that area rather aggressively, and I can get most of those marks out. I might just have dirt left in there, because can't get all the dirt out. Not yet, not until I fully wash it. But because my shop is so dirty, I save the washing till the very last thing. You guys know that I like to save the washing for later because I have my same shop uniform on that gets dirty. Then I wash it and then I put it right back on. It actually helps save money on clothing. Just I have one set of shop clothes that I use until they're good and dead, and then I move on, get a new set. In the summertime, it's usually shorts of some sort. When it gets super hot, then I'll wear a kilt from time to time. No, I'm not Scottish. I just like wearing a kilt in the shop. That airflow really helps keep me cool. I'm born and raised in Alaska. I don't live in Alaska right now. I live down in the lower 48, and or as we say, outside. So you can see all those facets in there now. I hope that really pops out in the camera. Just sliding that around. So that looks really cool. And I got a bunch of those. Anyway, living outside now, and it gets hot and humid where I'm at, and so having a kilt on really helps, especially as we get into July and August. You know, sometimes the blacksmith shop just becomes an episode of Naked and Afraid. It's so hot out here. You got to keep working. So I have a series of these cups that I need to work. So I just jumped on to the next one. It's interesting. I'm sorry if the tappy tap tap is too loud. But you guys, you're tuning into a blacksmith channel, so you gotta expect that there's gonna be a swing and a hammer and loud things. So I know I've kind of disappointed with the last few midweek with the makers. It's more been on the blacksmith tangent, leather work and woodwork and such as that. So back to metal. I've been rereading some books from my youth. As of late, I'm a fan of. I'm sure it's part of what got me into being a blacksmith was reading fantasy novels. Many of my friends actually are published fantasy authors at this point, which is kind of fun. So I recommend some of those. Jonathan Mast has a lot of great books out there. Jonathan Moeller, Moeller. Mast, I assume you can spell Mast. So just remember Jonathan, first of all, and then Mast and Moeller. It's a really great series out there to take a look at and enjoy. Those were not from my youth. I've been reading Dragonlance novels. Those were from the 80s. They got me into a lot of fantastical things, helped me build a love for swords and adventure, and so there was a series that came out, though, kind of during my college years, where they called it the Lost Chronicles. So these are stories that happened that weren't a part of the original series. I've just been reading those, so it's not a reread, it's a first read, and that's been kind of enjoyable. I reread the original Chronicles series and the Twins trilogy, which is about two of the characters who are twins, obviously. So it's been nice. It's been somewhat nostalgic going through those, and hoping at least one of my boys will read it eventually. Here's another one with all the facets in there. Really trues up that circle look. These are nice and deep, so if you're using them for a coffee scoop, it only takes 1 or 2 scoops, and then you got a full hopper ready to go. I grew up in a night worker's house, so swing shift specifically. So our coffee is very thick. That's what I grew up drinking, and that's what I drink now. So, but the biggest thing with planishing is keep it moving. Keep it moving. Because if I stay in one spot too long with the hammer strikes, I was teaching class on Monday as well, and the answer to so many things is physics. If I stay in one spot too long, the couple actually open back up. So I need to keep moving it around, and if I hit, on the tangent of the circle, it'll help form it around the round stake here. Whereas staying in the same spot would work against me. Now I don't put lines on here because I actually want this to be a little bit randomized. And some of the other copper working reels that are out there, you'll see guys people have lines that they draw on there, and that's if you're looking to get a really even raise across the whole thing. I'm letting this be, I want something kind of even because I'm going to end up putting handles on these things, but I really just kind of let it be a little bit random. As we've said in previous episodes of Midweek with a Maker, there is no excellent beauty that hath not some strangeness in proportion. So I allow there to be some strangeness rather than setting out to be as controlling as I can be. Here we go, still running. It's nice to have some not so crazy attentive work to do when you're not feeling the greatest. it's not like I have a fever or I'm imminently gonna die. It's just kind of got that bleh feel. My wife looked at me this morning and said, "You look awful." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, hon. I love you too." So just feel off enough that any of my larger projects just seems like it would be a really bad idea for me to try to engage with. So it's going to be on the milder side. I'm going to finish planishing these out. And then maybe put the handles on. Get these guys done. Hand sanding, something that's again a little bit more mindless. I'm coming around the edge on this one because the slope of the cup didn't work out quite the way that I wanted it to. So by using directional blows, I can actually true up that edge just a little bit more. This is in my classes, I'm kind of big on teaching ergonomics when you're swinging a hammer. That's something that sadly not a lot of people spend time thinking about. I know I didn't when I first started, about how do you hold a tool most effectively to use it. And you just start swinging a hammer. It's kind of like running. People don't think that there's really technique to running, but there is. There's technique to swinging a hammer too, and especially if you're going to do it for a long time, you need to understand how to swing a hammer well, so that you can do it for a long time, and that involves understanding biomechanics and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for my kinesiology classes that I took in college that helped me understand that just a little bit better, and some mentors who also emphasized the importance of biomechanics. So there's another one. Almost looks like a disco ball type thing. That's what we got. So just in our short video for today, I got 3 of these coffee scoop bowls planished. They're all faceted. They're looking really nice. I guess I could play a game of cups there. Find the P. That might be another option for that. If you want that really cool scoop setup. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today for Midweek with the Maker. We're going to keep it nice and short for you, my friends. It's been fun having you in the shop again. Please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you're watching on Instagram, I'm just going to ask that you pop over to YouTube, give me that like so that I can start to cross stream in the future here, so that I can get those followers on YouTube that way. Also, please be mindful, keep your eyes open for information regarding the axe that was the first project with Midweek with the Maker. So thanks for joining me for a little while. Get out there and make something of yourself.